Hey baddies, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to go ahead and show you how I break down my month. This is my budget planner book. I just spiral bound it because I have big hands and it's easier for you guys to see. Worth of these pages inside of this book, I'm going to show you how I broke down the month of October. And I do this every month, even if you don't see it on video. It's a really good way to stay organized. So very first here we go through our finance calendar. You go ahead and write in your month, and then I go ahead and categorize, right? So I grab me some highlighters and I give each color a title, right? So I go through first and write in my paydays. And you see here are the ones from Baddies and Budgets. And then here are the two I get from different forms of social media. And then next, I go ahead and go through and chart out all of my bills. So here in the blue, you see all of my bills. If you want to write out the amount, you can do that as well. But I was kind of in a hurry this month, so I just wrote the actual bill title. This just helps you be able to understand when they're coming out. If it's something you do have to pay in cash, you can be sure that you have it ahead of time. And if you are like a bi-weekly paid employee, you can see which bills you're going to be paying with each check. It really makes it a lot easier to be able to visualize that. A lot of my one-on-one clients are bi-weekly, and this really helps them to be able to see, okay, well, I'm paying these bills with these check, these bills with these check, this check is free, and so on and so forth. So next I go through and write out my debt, which is actually my credit cards, and I put those here in red. I put it in a color that stands out so that I can be sure I'm paying them before the statement date and paying them in full. And very last here I just have invest, which is a new one that I'm charting. I'm trying to invest a larger portion of my income. So here you see on the 5th of every month that automatically comes out of my account and it is invested. Over here on the next page, we have the bill tracker. And so here's just another way again for you to see your bills when they're coming up, the amount. Just helps you stay organized and make sure that your bills are paid on time. So you write in the year date, the names of the bills, the day they're due, and the amount. And as you pay them, you just want to go through and check them off so that, you know, sometimes you get to the end of the month and it's like, I have $200 extra. Like, where did this come from? And you only find out the following month that you forgot to pay a bill or a bill slipped through the crack. This ensures that that doesn't happen. Since I don't have a ton of bills, like 900, I go ahead and do bills in this one, and my credit cards over here again, just to be sure that I am paying them on time. And I actually need to go in and write out the amounts for some of these because I've paid the majority of them, but because the credit card amounts vary, I just go ahead and write in whatever I paid here in the amount column. Up next is actually one we're going to do together. This is a monthly budget. I feel like this sheet is vital for more of us to be doing, just so you can get a better scope and a better plan of how to actually budget out your money. So you go through your income, your variable expenses, which is your daily spending, fixed expenses, which, you know, it varies from person to person, but for me, it's retirement, student loans, savings, and my sinking funds. And here are expenses. Down here, I use this section for any big expenses for the month. Anything upcoming that costs, you know, outside of the norm, outside of what you have in your sinking funds or whatever. It's kind of personal preference, but I put those here. So let me kind of show you how I work through the monthly budget. For Baddies and Budgets this month, we're going to do $1,200 a paycheck, and there's actually 5 weeks. So we're looking at $6,000. Social media, here lately, I can expect about $3,500 from YouTube, and from my other various platforms, probably another $2,000. It was a slow month, so we're going to look at $5,500. And then for a grant, I did win a small business grant, so that will come to my personal account, but it's just going to get moved over to my business savings. We have $6,000 plus $5,500 plus $7,000. So we have $18,500 this month, which sounds outrageous, y'all, but it literally all gets invested or saved. So for gas this month, I am, as I'm getting ready for Black Friday, we are going back and forth to the storage a lot more and just having to run more errands. So I am going to give myself a little bit more than I typically do for gas. I'm going to budget $500 for the month. Groceries, that's the killer. So it has been one of our most expensive, like I haven't budgeted correctly for groceries in like 3 months because it's gotten so expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and say $1,200 for groceries, which is way more than I have ever budgeted, but I just need to have enough money there, so I stopped pulling from other places. Eating out is the same. It's also been relatively higher than usual because we are prepping for Black Friday, and some days I don't feel like cooking, so we grab food. So I'm gonna say $500 for spending money. Haven't been doing a lot of that, but we do have the holiday shopping coming up, so I'm not gonna include it here. So for spending, I'm just gonna do $150. Miscellaneous, I'm gonna do $200. And help a human, because it's closer to the holidays, I really do want to push myself to give and do more, so I'm going to put $200 there as well. So $500, $1,200. So $2,750 is our total here for our fixed expenses. So I am really also trying to push myself to put more money into retirement, to get closer to paying off more of my student loans. This is savings challenges and sinking funds. So for sinking funds, I usually do about $500 a paycheck. Since we have 5 paychecks, we're going to say $2,500 for sinking funds. For savings challenges, I'm going to try to match that, $2,500. Student loans, I'm going to shoot to get $500 paid of that. And retirement, I'm actually going to shoot to get $1,000 into retirement this month. So that's $1,550 there. Okay, and so for Halloween, I'm just gonna give us a budget of, we're probably just gonna spend $150. And holiday shopping, actually, I'm planning to spend about $1,500 to go ahead and get everybody's holiday gift out of the way. So down here is $1,650. Okay, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is add up the total from expenses, fixed expenses, and variable expenses. So $1,650 plus $1,550 plus $2,750 is $5,950. And so we're gonna subtract that from this income, $5,950. So that leaves us with $12,550. But I am going to go ahead and move the grant to my business savings. So I'm going to actually chart that here as well. So that actually leaves us with $5,550. Okay, and this money is more than likely to cover any like overage as far as the holiday shopping goes, as well as investing. Like, I'm really pushing myself to get more into investment. So probably $2,000 to $3,000 of this will go to my solo 401k, and the rest will kind of just cover random expenses. So that's how I budget out my monthly pay. Let me pull it in closer just in case. So you should be doing this every month, and it's not exact. Sometimes you go over and under. Again, you come back at the end of the month and write in the actual amounts. So if I only spent $420 on gas, $800 on groceries, you do that, and then you write in the difference here. So in the next month, you can see, okay, let me try to budget better. That's kind of how you do that, as well as you do it down here, and as well as with your income. These are kind of estimates, pre and post tax, so you have actual amounts. Okay, next here is sinking funds, and I'm actually, the next video you'll be seeing from me is me changing out my binders. I'm really trying to simplify my budget as the holidays come around before the new year, because it's really becoming a struggle for me to handle all of those sinking funds as well as all the stuff going on in the background. So I am trying to condense and change a lot of these sinking funds. So I'm actually using this sheet. I typically don't, to go ahead and give myself a starting point and kind of see where I end up at the end of the year. So you can use this sheet. A lot of people don't, but it's just here for those of us who are like planning, changing out sinking funds and things like that. You can kind of see what you add during the month and how you end. Okay, and then up next here, you just have your budget planner so that you can work through each paycheck. So there are 4 of those in here. I haven't planned out any, I'm running behind. So I'm actually gonna do a cash stuffing today as well for last week. And then here's the sinking funds breakdown. So this is what you use to get the correct denominations from the teller. So when you do, after you finish your budget planner, you come here, you write out all of the funds that you need money for, you write in the amount, and then you choose the denominations for each. So say I needed $100 for gas, so I write gas $100 and I want a $100 bill. Or if you want 520s or 250s, and then you total it out down here at the bottom, and then these numbers, so say you have $500 bills, that's what you write on your teller slip. There's some newer ones I made, but that's then what you write on your teller slip and give to the teller. So I need 5 $100 bills, which is total $500. I need 250s, which is 100, and then you give them a grand total. That way it makes it easier for them to give you the correct denominations, as well as you ensure that you are getting the correct money from the bank. Then here is a weekly check-in. So I just go ahead and pre-fill it out for the month, just so that I can be sure that I'm doing it every week. But this weekly check-in is how you evaluate your day-to-day spending. So the money that's inside of your cash envelope wallet, which is here, is what you should be using to check in weekly. So you put what you started with in gas. So if I had $100 in gas, at the end of the week, it only cost me, what, 40 to fill up. I'd write I spent 40, I had 60 remaining. So that the next week, you can better budget each category. It helps you to kind of, I know a lot of people wonder, how much should I put? Well, you figure it out slowly after you track whether you had enough or not enough on a week-to-week basis. So there's that sheet. I pre-fill it out at the beginning of the month. And then here's an expense tracker. I just wanted to show you guys that I do track. And so there are plenty of these sheets in here as well. And you just want to track your spending throughout the month. That's also a part of the monthly process so that you can see where your money is going. And very last here, well, not very last, but close to the end here, we have Sinking Funds Monthly Tracker. So this is, again, how you keep up with how much money you're actually adding to your sinking funds and how close you are to your goals. You just go in here, write in the sinking fund, how much you started with at the beginning of the month, how much you're ending the month with, and what the difference is. How much you had last month, how much you have this month, how much you were able to save. So I gave you extra sheets here just in case. I know some of us have a ton of sinking funds, so there are 3 sheets per month. That should pretty much cover. If you have more than that, woo, bless your heart. So here is another month-end overview. Again, I just kind of pick whichever categories are sticking out to me for the month. And for me, that's groceries. I'm really working to add more to my emergency fund, as well as my nieces. This time of year, I really try to think of them and make sure that they have a good holiday season. And so I really want to set myself a budget for these and then see how much I'm actually spending. And so next month, I'm going to be able to track what I did kind of as I go for it so that I don't overspend for them, but you know. And so debt and savings here, you just list any debts you have that you're really trying to track. So for me, it's student loans and a medical debt I'm trying to get paid off. You want to add how much that you paid this month, how much you have left. Same for savings. And here I kind of track my retirement. This is a new thing. I'm trying to get like $61,000 in there. So a lot of money is going towards that. IRA, that's fully maxed out for the year. But if you have one and you're trying to contribute that $6,000 amount, that's a good place to track it. Say you paid $1,000 this month and you only have $1,500 left. That's a good way to see that. And then I'm also starting a new savings for myself. I want to put away $100K just to have in the event that I figure out what I'm going to do as far as a new home. So again, I'm trying to track that. And that's it. We are on to the next month. So again, I fill this out every month. If you do it like a week before the month starts, that's even better. It just helps you prepare and visually see kind of what your month looks like finance-wise. Sometimes it's really hard to plan and see how much should I be putting in these sinking funds if you're not tracking and visually keeping up. Because say it's December and I have a question about something or a bill comes up, I can always come back and see what I paid, see when I paid it. Or if it's according to my sinking funds, I can come back here and see, okay, well, I was adding this much, adding this much this month, so I should be adding this much that month. The same with your cash envelopes as you're wanting to change those amounts. You can come back and evaluate your spending, where your money was going, what month it was, what was happening. You can see your expenses so you know kind of where you were spending. And you can plan your budget going forward. It's really hard to create an adequate budget if you're not tracking your spending in some way, okay? So this just really helps you to do that. I know I don't share with you guys that often how I actually plan out my month. I'm going to try to be more consistent and diligent about doing so. But here's the month of October. We are looking forward to a financially healthy month. That doesn't mean not spending money. That doesn't mean not using a credit card. It just means that we do it well, we do it within budget, and we stick to the financial game plan. Okay, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This book is available in my shop. I actually discounted it a little bit because it is the end of the year, and I know that, you know, we're busy spending money a lot of different places, so it is available. It's not bound like this. It's actually bound on the spine like a regular journal, but this is a great tool for newbies. You can always reference this video to see how I use the page if you need to know. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a good day. Bye.